Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. It's the American Doofus Show. We've just been witnessing what was happening in Germany, in Berlin. Now, this is Paris, France. Protests around the world today. Now, we got to call attention to the fact that it is Saturday and it is the Sabbath in the Hebrew faith. Switching to London now, massive protest underway in London. Again, if you're just joining us, we started out in Berlin, a quick clip of Berlin, and then Paris, France. Paris, they were using water cannons and a noxious chemical. I guess that's the word for tear gas now. And here we are in London, England. If you're just joining us, it is the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. Pro-Palestinian protests underway throughout the world. Berlin, Paris. This is London. As you can see, a massive amount of people. Yo, Kelvin, how are you, my man? Thank you so much for being here, for all you do. Carlos, we started out in, the first clip was from Berlin. The second clip was from Paris. And this is in London. London is much more peaceful as far as interaction with the police than what we have just seen in Paris and Berlin. Critical race theory, or you're a flaming racist. Okay. This is in London. We're going to be going, a protest has just begun in Washington, D.C. Just got a stream for it. We will be cutting to it, as well as what is actually going on in Jerusalem and other stories as we begin today. And again, thank you for watching. Yes, everything. This is all the protests are regarding Israel versus Palestine. And I started to say Friday is the holy day in the Muslim faith. Saturday is the Sabbath in the Hebrew faith, and Sunday is the Lord's Day in the Christian faith. And so you're not seeing pro Israeli demonstrations, or at least I'm not getting feeds for them, and I would if they were going on, I believe. And you're seeing massive pro-Palestinian demonstrations. The first two shots I used, I wanted to show the police interactions. This shot is for the aerial shot, so that you can actually get a sense of the size of the crowd and how far the crowd is dispersed as they are now beginning. This was their rally point. The arch was their rally point, and then they are dispersing for a march. And we'll just keep it here for a few minutes so you can get an idea of the size of this rally. And again, if you're just joining us, thank you. We're live. We're going to be here for a while as a march has just begun in Washington, D.C. here in the United States. And there are other marches underway in the United States, and we're going to cut to one of those here in just a couple of minutes. But again, wanted you to get an idea of the size of this crowd that is gathered in London, England. And this is a pro-Palestinian march. Now, as always on this show, we don't tell you what to think. We don't tell you how to think. We just give you things to think about, and let you make your own decisions and judgments. Again, tomorrow, I imagine we will see much more of the pro-Israeli protesting, as again today is the Sabbath in the Hebrew faith. But it's just fact that all around the world there are protests going on in support of Palestine in this conflict with Israel over Palestine. Oakley, sorry about that. Those that watch the show on a regular basis know about the doofus dog. She's my alarm system as well as my pain in the butt. Really, this is becoming more than just Israel and Palestine, as there are reports. Somebody is either here at my house or there's a dog nearby. There are reports that Syria, that missiles have been fired overnight. Sorry about that. Missiles have been fired overnight out of Syria, and supposedly Iranian missiles. Those are possibilities that we talked about in the last episode with Chris, the international security expert. That's a frequent and welcomed guest on the show for his expertise. If you haven't seen that episode, go back and check it out. Just under a half an hour, and a lot of really good information in there. Right now, though, we are. Thank you, First Sergeant Dobie. Yeah, she is. She's a pain in the butt, but she's a good dog, and nobody gets close to the house here without her letting me know, I should say. So, yeah, she's a good girl. She's an Anatolian Shepherd and Great White Pyrenees mix. So she's a big dog, a strong dog, a stubborn dog, and a very loyal dog. Anyway, protests underway. And again, this is London, and I'm staying on this clip a little bit longer. I want to show you Well, I've got a lot to talk about today. And we're going to be showing the protests, and I've got a couple of other things to show. There was a police action shooting in Indianapolis here yesterday evening, and I'm going to be talking about that. Indiana, this is going to have some hometown flavor to it. Indiana's only black congressman is also a Muslim, Andre Carson. I'm sorry, jeez, apologize.
Round number 3, the submission by again.
What is this? Whoa! Stop!
Charles
Stop. So anybody that's a UFC fan, a little bonus footage for you there. That was not supposed to happen. Actually, my queue just emptied and UFC came up into my queue. I'm not sure what's happening there. Hang with me for just a second. That was an unexpected glitch there. What we're going to go to now, again, protesting, and this is a pro-Palestinian protest, as the others have been. Again, we started out in Berlin, and I'm going to rerun those clips a little bit later on for those that will be joining as the day goes through. But a violent protest in Berlin, a violent protest in Paris, France, a massive but peaceful protest in London, England, and now we go to Louisville, Kentucky. Again, this is Louisville, Kentucky. This is University of Louisville campus, or just off the University of Louisville campus. Again, this is Louisville, Kentucky. Pro-Palestinian march. If you're just joining us, we started out in Beirut, or we started out in Berlin, Germany. Paris, France was our next stop. London, England for a massive protest. Somehow by a glitch, a brief look at UFC, and here we are in Louisville. I really wasn't expecting this. I'm anxious to see if something happens here in Indianapolis or somewhere else in Indiana today, possibly Chicago, in the northern part of the state. But I mentioned a local flavor. We're going to drop in a couple of stories coming up here. A couple of stories coming up here with involving Andre Carson, our congressman from the 7th District, who is also he's our only black congressperson and is also a Muslim. And we're going to hear from him. And also, there was a police action shooting yesterday here in Indianapolis, and we're going to get a report on that coming up as well. So lots, as the title said, lots of things going on throughout the day. We're just getting started here, and I'm trying to cut to the march in Washington, D.C. And here we go. Now, there's supposed to be a march in New York City and Brooklyn, but I have not got a feed on that yet. And again, Washington, D.C. is where we're supposed to be cutting to. Here we go.
The Executive Director of American Muslims for Palestine, Dr. Osama Hussein. You Palestinians, let me hear your voices. You are over 73 years old and you are a Palestinian, let me hear your voice. You are a Palestinian, if you're 73 years old, let me hear your voice. So I guess that's the rule. The Palestinians are still alive. Palestinians are still the Israeli Prime Minister, Yaron Trudeau, once said decades ago, the earth will die, the earth will forget. If you are a Palestinian, you're not 50 years old. She passed away. The Palestinians are passing on.
Again, this is Washington, D.C. pro-Palestinian march.
Freedom of worship and satisfied for well, Mr. President, we can teach you what more the truth is. Mr. President, we can give up to you. The truth in the middle, Mr. President. The truth in the middle.
Okay, obviously having trouble with broadband usage there. I'm going to go back here and show you once again what was happening in Paris, what is happening in Paris in a pro-Palestinian rally, as we opened, well, too much going on here at once. Okay, we'll go with the update from the BBC here while.
تم اطلاق نعم هذه غرض ربما استمعتم الى هذه الغرض في المبنى الذي يظهر الان في الصوره، وهو تم يعني ابلاغ يعني احد الان محمود لازم ننزل.
أعلنها أنت الخارج إذا كنت معرض لخطر يمكن أن تذهب الآن، لأن أنا أرى القصف يعني في مواجهة المكان مباشرة.
10 دقيقة.
عدنان
تم تدمير المبنى بالكامل.
نعم.
الصوت يا محمود راح.
نعم، أتمنى أن تكون بخير عدنان. فعلا يبدو أن يكون هناك ضربات عسكرية وقصف المبنى بالكامل.
Can you see missile strikes coming in and taking down the Al Shuruk? And one will come in and take down the center section. I'm hoping I get this to come up. Okay, I'm pretty certain that was not accurate footage there. I'm trying to get off of it as quick as I can. I'm jumping here to East Jerusalem. And while I look try to get queued up what I'm wanting to do here, apologies for the technical difficulties there, but this is live from East Jerusalem. Okay, I'm going to cut back finally to where I wanted to. This is Berlin earlier today. No. I'm not sure why my cue is not working here. I don't want Ralphie May. Not that I love Ralphie May, by the way. Ralphie May's an excellent comedian, but I can't afford a copyright strike. I'm trying to get Paris up here. And what was happening earlier, again, we just saw Berlin. I'm going to hopefully have a little more extended version of okay, this is where
We ask 100 married men.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm doing. We're just gonna hopefully my laptop hasn't frozen up. We will go to Congressman Andre Carson. Congressman Carson, Democrat from Indiana, representing the 7th district, which is basically Indianapolis. And hopefully we hear Congressman, yes, Congresswoman Rashid Tlaib and Congressman Andre Carson. Hopefully we'll get back on track here and things. Oh, okay.
Keep thinking, Sam. I love this sister here. I came out to support you, especially because my love and appreciation for you has grown throughout the years because she is the realest and she is the truth. Give it up for our sister. I love Congresswoman Tlaib. I want to thank all of you who came out today, all of the organizations, all of the activists, those of you who took off from work or snuck away from your laptop. Thank you for coming out. If you are Black, this is your fight. If you are Latino, this is your fight. If you're South Asian, this is your fight. If you're white, this is your fight. If you're Jewish, this is sure enough your fight. If you are an American, this is your fight. If you are a human being, this is your fight. That's right, my brother. So, what we're saying is, this isn't about me or you. This is about the liberation of the Palestinian people. I love Sister Rashida and Sister Omar because they have set an example for our colleagues in Congress. Many members right now are being threatened with political repercussions if they speak out on this issue. But I say, if you pay taxes, know that we spend billions of dollars that go to the state of Israel. Now, Israel is an important security partner, we know that, but we cannot allow our taxpayer dollars to go toward the oppression of the Palestinian people. I am urging each and every one of you to continue to support, uplift, and encourage people like Sister Rashida, people like Sister Ilhan, the entire squad, your brother Andre, and every member of Congress who has stepped up and showed out and supported this issue, and those who are afraid. Before you condemn them, give them a chance to be on the right side of history. No longer should politicians feel threatened about speaking out for what is right. If you speak out for Black Lives Matter, you should speak out on behalf of the Palestinians. If you are concerned about what is happening in Colombia, you should speak up on behalf of the Palestinians. A tweet is not enough. A post is not enough. A meme is not enough. We need your voices at the polls to punish those who are still afraid, but yet they come to you when it's time to get reelected. But when it comes time to speak out against this issue, they're silent. Enough is enough. As we go forward, let us unite and stand up on this issue and know that this isn't just a singular fight. This is a human fight. Thank you.
That was Congressman Andre Carson from the 7th District of Indianapolis. And this is a live look at a 2-square block of Gaza City at the moment. Earlier today, airstrikes brought down the building that housed the Associated Press and housed Al Jazeera in Gaza. And quite honestly, I got a lot of information from Al Jazeera out of Gaza. So with that building being destroyed, I'm not sure where or how they are going to set up and continue providing information. And that goes for the United States agency, the Associated Press, also housed in that building and now without facilities. All that happened earlier today. And again, reports of this is becoming more than just Israel versus Palestine, so to speak, or Israel versus Hamas, or Israel versus Gaza, or this is becoming, it's starting to spread, as Chris and I talked about in the last episode, distinct possibility of all this happening. And reports of Iranian missiles being shot from Syria into Israel. We had reports yesterday of Hezbollah shooting rockets from Lebanon into Israel. And so it's beginning to spread to other countries starting to get involved, which will eventually pull the United States into a decision to either stand back or become involved. And no matter what your stance is, and you don't have to have a stance. This may not be your fight. Here on the show, this is not our fight. This is not telling you what to think or how to think, just giving you things to think about. We're just showing you the imagery and showing you the reports and letting you make your own decisions. That's kind of the American way, but we seem to get away from that at times. And a quick hello to everybody in the chat. T-Rex, how are you? Mr. Black, shalom. Shalom to all. Salam. Namaste. Peace. Much love. Salty Granny. Lord Renzo. Yeah, I'm doing the production, the editing, the directing, as well as hosting, all at the same time when I'm doing a live. So sometimes glitches get in the way. Again, you can hear the occasional rocket fire, so you know we are live, even though not a lot of activity on the screen. That's because it is getting close to midnight there. I'm going to cut to the east. I'm going to cut to the Damascus Gate here in East Jerusalem in just a couple of minutes. But wanted to say hello to everyone. The three rockets that were launched from Syria, they caused no damage. One of the rockets didn't even make it out of Syria. The other two, however, did make it into Israeli territory despite the Iron Dome, and they crashed in non-residential areas. And again, no damage, but just the diplomatic and the potential reverberations around the world of such a thing happening is very serious. And there was no one killed in the when they leveled the. This was probably I'm guessing a 10 to 13 story tower that Al Jazeera and the Associated Press were in. I'll get a clip of that coming up here in just a second. And I'm guessing between 10 and 13 stories because the Gaza skyline has changed so much. All of the big towers have been taken down. Now they called an hour before. Israel called an hour before and told Al Jazeera and told the Associated Press that they indeed were going to blow up their building, and they gave them an hour to get as much stuff out as they could, and to get all the people out. I want to go back here local before I forget. If I can, I'm going to be switching here from YouTube to back to Facebook. If I got really old technology, and when I want it to work fast, it doesn't, of course. And I got fat thumbs. Sometimes when I push the screen, and then I get impatient and just shut the whole damn thing down, which just delays it even more. But again, we're live on screen. This is live. You can get an idea of, you don't see a lot of high buildings anymore as you look around Gaza. We've seen a couple of them taken out. Here on the show, I'm going to show you the Al Jazeera. I'm going to get it pulled up while we watch this report. This is from, hopefully comes up. It's from Real Indie News. Okay. I got to bump it up here because he won't start the report until so many people come on his feed. This is from Devontae, good friend of mine who runs Real Indie News. Devontae been on the show a couple of times, and this is in regards to the police action shooting in Indianapolis last night. Again, just giving you the information, and you make the decision on whether this was justified or whether this was an abuse of force.
It's unknown, but we do know that they do have a homicide unit who was out here on the way. So for those who heard the story, you get to decide, regardless if it was justified or if it was not. At the end of the day, this is a sad situation. Another life lost. So, that's the truth. I don't, you got to hear first. Make sure you share this live. It is what it is. Some will say it's justified, and some will say that it's not. There are 1,000 ways to pick apart what transpired, but that's the facts. He's pointing his gun at his mom, was threatening to shoot them. He didn't call the police because he was pranking out. He thought by calling them that they were going to transport him to a mental hospital. Once they arrived on the scene, he was outside pacing back and forth. Police pulled up. He started shooting at police, and then the police in return shot off 13 or 14 times at him. He was transported to our local hospital, and his condition is unknown. Anytime that you have homicide units who are out, usually that doesn't end well. It doesn't end well. And this is on 38th and Franklin. It's on 38th and Franklin. Someone said it sounds like suicide by cop. Yeah, he was shot 13 or 14 times. And so this is an inside source. This is an inside source as to what happened. So I wouldn't share with you anything that I didn't know for sure. That investigators had given.
Okay, so again, the man was in street terms planking, planking. He was wigging out. He was having some problems processing, and he called the police himself because he found himself holding a gun on his mom. He was outside when the police arrived. He was pacing back and forth. We're not sure at the moment what the interaction was between police and the victim or suspect, however you want to look at it. And he did fire at police. Whether he fired first, we'll find out in body cams. He fired at the police, and 2 police officers shot him 13 times. So that is that story. Now, if the evidence proves it's justified, then this will just be another story that we tell, as we've told so many times when these incidents occur. But also, some of the times we tell the story, and we find out it's not justified. And that takes us to Andrew Brown Jr. in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. I'm not going to run a clip from there because I'm going to be showing a march and I've talked about this on the program, a march and a rally tomorrow, and that's going to begin at 1:00. And normally Elizabeth City, they've wanted to keep things to themselves. They want this one to blow up. They want anyone from any state, anyone from any county in North Carolina is welcome. The march starts at 1:00. The rally, including speakers and I think that's musicians. Music or musicians, I can't read the begins at 3:00. So we'll have that coverage. I don't know if I have the whole thing, but we will be covering that tomorrow, as Andrew Brown was killed by sheriff's deputies and members of a SWAT unit. And give you a look. This is actually from Al
There we are,
Jazeera.
another strike on that tower. And the tower has come down.
That's actually Al
That
Jazeera
is
reporting.
the Al Jalaa Tower. That tower is where Al Jazeera's offices are warehoused. The Associated Press offices were also housed in that building. Whenever you see journalists doing live updates from Gaza, they're usually standing on the roof of that building, which has now been flattened in an airstrike by the Israeli military. So that is a landmark, an institution that has now been razed to the ground in Gaza. Important to remember as well that in this building, in addition to the media offices of Al Jazeera and the Associated Press, there are professional offices in that building, and half of that 11-story tower block is also residential properties where families have been living. Their homes have now been destroyed.
So there you go. Quick look at the destruction. And again, I'm not sure why my Facebook on my phone is messing with my cues. But this is not what we're supposed to be watching at the moment. Okay, that's the video I want to show. Please let me show it on the TV. I'm going to try to get us to Brooklyn, and I may have to. Well, okay. Normally, I don't have any problem with this site, but it will not. It just won't take me to the TV or to the monitor, I should say. All right. One more shot here, and if I can't get it, we're going somewhere else. Again, we're going to try to go to Brooklyn, New York, where thousands have gathered. It's reminiscent of what's happening in London. Just a minute, Oakley. Okay. Well, Let's do that. We're just going to disconnect from here and see if I can possibly get this back up again. I'm apologies, but producing and directing and editing and hosting all at the same time and not doing any of them very well at the moment, which just causes me to get frustrated and honked off. And the reason for this live was to show the two marches in Washington, D.C. and in Brooklyn, New York. And at the moment, Washington, D.C. video is not good. And I can't get the I can't get Facebook working here. So I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. Well, okay. This absolutely sucks. My computer's frozen. My phone's not working. I'm going to cut this off for now. This has been absolutely one of the worst shows I've ever done in my life, and I deeply apologize to everyone. And I'm going to get have footage of all of this, and I'll put it together in a show later on after I calm down for a little bit here. I'm embarrassed. I apologize. I love y'all. Thank you so much for hanging in here. I'll be back. That's not an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. That would be, I'll be back. It's just, we'll be back on later on with a much better show. There's some good stuff in here. If you're just joining us, go back and take a look. I love y'all.